Yeah, absolutely. Hey, everyone. Glad you guys could all make it. My name's Nalin. I lead Web3 product at Google Cloud. So really, our goal is to be the best place for Web3 builders to build. And so we focus on three main things, right? So we're building infrastructure for builders, so fully managed node product called Blockchain Node Engine. So if you're building on Polygon, Ethereum, Solana, we provide nodes that make it really easy to build. We also index blockchain data for 20 different chains and put it into BigQuery. So you can query it with SQL just like you do with your off-chain data. And then on top of that, we also run over 20 validators now, I think, is the latest number, to just participate, help secure these networks with, we have great networking infrastructure, undersea cables. We're pretty much known for our infrastructure, and we think that's like a big role we can play in this space, is securing networks. And then the last thing is, you'll see on this board here, we have a great Web3 startups program. I was talking to someone just a few minutes ago, and they were like, I couldn't get credits. Well, we understand like Web3 companies look different than traditional Web2 companies. So the criteria for getting credits is very different. Apply, you can get up to $200,000 in credits. And we also partner with a lot of folks in the ecosystem for grants and other things like that. So, yeah.
Awesome. Over to you, Hugo.
Hi, I'm Hugo, co-founder of Flare. Flare is an EVM layer 1. We term it the blockchain for data. So we're building Flare really because the data capabilities of existing data providers in the space are fairly weak and have pretty weak security guarantees, which isn't something you really want, if you're working, if you want decentralization. So we're building a layer 1 where essentially the validators provide the data. We've just released essentially a governance vote on our price oracle, which is upgrading it from 15 time series to 1,000, and from a 3-minute latency to 90 seconds, and potentially every block.
And last but not least, Dylan.
Hello guys, my name is Stanley. I'm the CTO and co-founder of Ankr. So Ankr is a blockchain infrastructure provider. Also, we have our protocols for liquid staking as well. So as of yesterday, we provide the infrastructure for more than 50 blockchain already. And our daily request is around 2 billion on that level. So it's really happy to be here today to share our experience and also our lessons for blockchain Web3 infrastructure provider.
Thanks for the introduction, guys. I first want to start with Nalin. With Google, when you guys look at different blockchains that you can work with or be a validator on, what are some what do you guys find interesting? What is Google thinking when they look at these blockchains?
Yeah, so for us, we're fairly blockchain agnostic. We just want to go where developers are building and where customers are asking for help, right? So, honestly, like a lot of people don't know like what Google's doing in the space and why we're here. But when we talk to customers, they're asking for more reliable infrastructure, better RPC. Obviously, Ankr has a great RPC service, but there's a lot of RPC problems out there where you have to kind of round robin between different providers to get the reliability you need. So that's a big part of where we see our role really is, wherever developers are and where customers are asking for help is really where we gravitate towards.
And you guys recently had a partnership announced with Flare.
Yeah, that's right.
What was that about exactly? Like, how did you guys partner together?
Yeah, so just like we run validators for a bunch of different networks, we saw an opportunity to help secure Flare. Love what they're doing. It's really aligned with our overall ethos on making blockchain data more accessible, right? So, we spent a lot of time since 2018 indexing on-chain data and making it available off-chain for analytics. But now, Flare does a great job of taking off-chain data and putting it on-chain, or even cross-chain data and making it available. So it's really just an extension of that. So I thought that was a really great opportunity to continue our data storing.
Okay, awesome. And over on the Flare side, you guys conversely could look at a lot of different companies that you could work with in the Travis ecosystem of tech. So with you guys with Google, how did you guys approach that partnership on your end?
So I'm using Google for products, one of our internal work, and of course, running some of our validators. And they offer a fantastic system, like a very good ecosystem roadmap as well, which is incredibly valuable to us. It's fantastic that people building on Flare can come to Google and get credits, which is a great thing. But we started out the 3 co-founders in machine learning. Of course, Google is probably the biggest and one of the oldest entities in the modern sort of AI era. And then we ended up building Flare, which is the blockchain of data. Of course, Google has a large amount of data. That has, as they said, they've been indexing the chains for a number of years now. You pretty much have all of the data. So if you want, if you want to have high quality data and you want to do it in a decentralized way, having Google as a partner is kind of a natural step.
How I feel.
And Stanley, with you working in an ecosystem, and what's your relationship with Flare and how you guys work together?
So basically, we are blockchain neutral as well. So we try to provide the infrastructure not only for the company and also for the end user, for the community as well. So it's just that one time a day, we our office there and also the player get together and think, okay, why not we provide RPC service and provide the data service, indexing service to the community of Flare as well. At that time, we clicked. And so the result is we also provide the RPC service on our website about Flare, and people love it. Yes.
So I want to first give this question to Hugo. On data availability, on having data on the blockchain and piping that data, and what are some of the nuances that people don't really understand with how Flare operates and what problem it's solving? But I think a lot of people just assume everything in the right works and they're able to access the data when they need to. But there's a lot of complexities in having better architecture. Could you go into some of the details behind that?
So the central thesis is quite simple. Most ecosystems currently have a massive risk exposure. They have a risk exposure to their oracle. If that oracle fails, their ecosystem value potentially collapse.
Let's cover what an oracle is, so people might not know.
An oracle is essentially a service that provides data on chain. Early oracles are basically, where the first generation oracle is basically one node providing data, completely trusted. Later oracles add a few nodes, we added consensus.
The oracle problem is where you're piping external data into a blockchain, you got to trust the data source piping that in. So with Flare, this is something that you guys do. But you're looking at how all the data gets piped into these different blockchains and how to make that more secure.
Yeah, so in short, Oracle services basically traditionally are external to the blockchain. They run nodes, but they're not part of the blockchain's consensus. They're not part of the blockchain itself, really. They're just an external thing, and you trust it with it. And if you look at the biggest players, they pipe in lots of prices, and it's usually prices that people are asking for, and they're not very decentralized, and the level of trust is very high. We figured, well, why don't we use the mechanism that is prevalent of figuring out how trust can be distributed, which is a blockchain, in order to provide that data. And that's essentially where we've got.
Nalin, when it comes to data and Google, Google's one of the largest, must be one of the largest consumers of data in the world. And you guys parsing and analyzing it. When you guys think about how blockchains play a role in that, where do you guys kind of see, where are some really key ways that blockchains solve?
Yeah, so I think, anytime you need traceability, auditability, accountability, where you just don't want to trust a single party, blockchains are really perfect for those situations. So, I can do business with someone, I can have a financial transaction, but then I can verify actually what happened rather than just assuming that. This is so weird. So rather than just assuming that things happen the way a party said that they would, right? So I think that's critical for the future of how we're building these applications, right? If we're going to do smart contracts and we're going to drive a lot of applications programmatically, then having decentralized workloads becomes really important, because one bad actor that's providing off-chain data on-chain can really like cause a lot of damage. So yeah, I think it's a really important service. We'll just pass this around. Like,
Sounds good. Yeah, absolutely.
And also just echo to what Nalin said, I think that for application, different application require different data. I just, joking with that, Nalin, why not submit like Google identity to the blockchain, then people can connect with Google, and in the meanwhile can verify on chain. Okay, in the meanwhile, verify on chain, this is the ownership of Google account. We definitely can request it. We definitely can see that a lot of these kind of use cases are coming, and definitely there's a lot of verification methods like using ZK to verify your KYC, using ZK to verify your ownership. This is all coming to the blockchain.
Flare's building data protocols to provide price data, or we call it time series data, because it could be something other than prices, to prove Web 2 data onto the blockchain in a decentralized way, and to prove Web 3 data on the blockchain. And that then really lets a developer, as we have the EVM on chain, that lets a developer really build quite a wide array of applications. One of the applications that we're building is a relay for our data to other chains, so that we can, we're building a relay of our data to other chains, and that relay is secured by our sensor. Because in the sense of a signature-based scheme and signed by all the validators. So then we can serve our data to all the other chains, not just price data, the Web 2 data, Web 3 data. And I mean, the use cases are countless. I mean, for us, the use case is to build a bridge using as we're many different, I suppose. I'm quite interested in social, quite interested in monetizing things like barcode and stuff like that. And of course, there's probably the other area that we are most interested in as an organization is AI.
Yeah, that's a great segue. So everyone wants to pick up this conversation around AI and data. AI seems to be, instead of being fueled by data, LLMs are fueled by the data set that you feed it with. Want to address that a little bit, Stanley?
Oh, yeah, sure. So Ankr recently worked with some AI thinking as well, because we're an infrastructure provider. We also provide infrastructure for the AI training service, AI inferencing service. Right now, the situation is the blockchain itself do not have enough computing power for the training and for the inferencing. So blockchain itself to serve the purpose to facilitate this process. So for example, it can be the place to let the community to contribute the inferencing results. It can be the central place to incentivize people submit more and more data, or more and more data labeling for the training purpose. So I think in general, the blockchain can serve a very, very crucial position to help the AI company collect data, to help them to train data, but the training itself or inference itself that can create the.
So you think it's like is it the incentive model that you can build with the blockchain where you incentivize people to submit data sets, validating, et cetera?
Yeah, actually right now in the space, people are talking about something called initial model offering. So basically some company can contribute a model on the blockchain, and people can submit inference results such as a picture, and that automatically transfer to an MP, or the training benefits can be distributed through the model content. So this kind of the model is picking up. So we can see that definitely is coming for the next 2 or 3 months.
And this question's for either of you two. We've had a lot of different blockchains for data and other Filecoin and like data storage. What's the difference between what Flare's doing between Flare and Filecoin and then some of these other blockchains that have either data storage or data availability?
So that's specifically about printing off-chain data on-chain. It's not data storage so much. There's no easy way to access data from many blocks ago. You need an index for that. It's centralized. It's about being able to do something with that data when you need it. That's essentially to optimize an application that consumes that data for something. So that's kind of our use.
Perfect. And Nolan, at Google, when you guys look at AI, the intersection of AI and blockchain, what's sort of the interest in? Like, is there any type of use case that you see very apparently?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's two different ways you can think about it. You can think about it as AI for Web3 and then Web3 for AI, right? So AI for Web3 is things like, okay, how can I use AI to generate a smart contract? How to read a smart, or how can I optimize a smart contract for gas fees, find security holes? That's really interesting, but it's just AI applied to a different domain space, generating SQL queries, this kind of thing. Then there's like AI or Web3 for AI, right? I think those use cases are still being figured out, but I think that's what's going to be more interesting here. So things like, maybe things like, okay, you generated an AI image or content, but putting the source and the authenticity of that on chain, that could be interesting, and in a way that I can have like the traceable truth and sources of an image in a way that we can't have right now, right? It's why NFTs took off. It's like, okay, I can actually prove that this NFT came from this creator.
The provenance.
The data provenance, yeah, that's right.
Provenance, yeah, I can see that. And we only have about 5 more minutes left, so I want to kick it back to, go ahead.
I wanted to jump on AI, so I went through to AI a little bit. We released a paper yesterday where we sort of put forward that AI can actually be improved by using a blockchain. That is, for me, probably the most interesting thing that we're looking at, other than what we do with data, which fits very classically into what blockchains are used for. But the idea that you can improve an existing thing that has had so many billions of dollars thrown at it by using a blockchain is incredibly exciting. It also solves some of the key issues of sort of centralized AI. One of which is sort of access to data. So, if you can distribute out the AI learning, essentially, then we're getting access to very, very much, potentially, a very, very much larger data set in aggregate. And that is when, I really think that a move for distributed computing is, and I personally think it's probably the next biggest use case, and probably will end up being the second biggest use case after payments.
So, if we only have 5 minutes left, if you'd like to start with your final thoughts, and then hit the standard radio room, we'll do Nolan.
I thought that,
I went this way. Yeah, kind of like final thought. If you were to leave the crowd with one last insight that you would want to say about what Ankr is doing, or what you think about being on it, taking it on the blockchain, what's like your final thought you'd like to leave the audience with?
I think for Ankr, we would like to keep facilitate the community and provide a better service. So there's a lot of interesting applications came out recently, and including AI, and we're still exploring. And also a lot of application also come from like the Bitcoin ecosystem as well. So I think this year, or especially next couple of months, will be very, very interesting period for the blockchain community. And I would like to see a lot of, of course, Ankr at this moment is building a couple of applications and also protocol, trying to release in next 1 or 2 months, and people, we can expect that. But generally speaking, I think for these 2 months, we will work hard and trying to provide best service to the community. Yes.
Thank you, Stanley. Hugo? Your box.
So we're shipping all our data protocols this year, and our 2 bridges, one for non-smart contract tokens and one for smart contract tokens. I think, come and have a look at what we're doing. We're very interested in getting thoughts on, what data sets should be, what data types should be included on the network. One of the areas that I'm quite interested in talking to Dan about recently, got a new gig, is what we can do with Bitcoin data and what products can be built, like data from the Bitcoin blockchain.
Yeah, for us, we're just going to continue to invest in making the blockchain data more accessible for developers, making it easier to build with. That means both like analytical data, so putting data in BigQuery, so you can do really complex queries across the history of the chain. But we're also working with the community to figure out real-time data solutions. So something that I actually just tweeted about earlier today, We partnered with a company called Colorful Notion, and they're doing real-time streaming blockchain data over Google Cloud PubSub, right? So these are public topics. You can just subscribe to the data you care about and consume it however you want. Once it's in PubSub, you can put it really anywhere, send it to a webhook. And so for us, it's making the data more accessible and then obviously expanding chain coverage and having all the chains that are relevant. So you'll see as the year goes on us supporting more and more chains.
Well, thank you guys so much for those insights. Appreciate the panel opening up. Thank you all for attending. Thank you for sticking with our technical troubles. Have a beer, hang out, talk to these guys. They'll be available. We'll be walking around. So thanks again for coming, and let's give a round of applause for them.
Finally, there was one microphone.